How you doing? So I'm doing a damage comparison with Apocalypse. Something I want to mention in deep dive, it's very misleading and you don't want to judge a champion based on deep dive because you don't know what masteries they are running, or are they running any masteries at all. So sometimes when you look at deep dive, that could be like half of the potential they can do, or even less than half of the damage they can do in deep dive, because you don't know what masteries, if they are running any masteries at all. So some champions like Apocalypse can be mistaken to hit like a noodle. KT1 excuse me. So don't want to judge a champion based on his damage, at least on deep dive. So I'm just going to showcase damage comparison with different masteries as well as synergies with Apocalypse. So here I kind of like what could be what they do in deep dive, what kind of masteries they're running. I'm not running any damage mastery. I'm not running deep wounds or assassins as well. So in this gameplay, I only have Apocalypse. I have no synergy team, just by himself. So this is my opinion, and this is, I don't think he's difficult to use. If you think he's difficult to use, that's absolutely fine. But for me, in my just my opinion, I don't think he's difficult to use. So pretty much the basic of Apocalypse is you want to throw your SP1 or SP2, and then inflict those damage over time, which is poison and for the special one, and degeneration on the special two, and then you want to refresh them by throwing a special attack. So right here I decided to throw my SP2 first, and then now I'm gonna throw the SP1. So to refresh them, you just pretty much throw a heavy attack. That's it. The next thing you want to do is go to that SP3. SP3 will keep them permanent. Not only keep them permanent, it also increase the potency by 100% when it comes to the damage over time. So that's pretty much the rotation with Apocalypse. So I believe gameplay, as soon as I do that, the entire rotation for him is I just spam SP2. It doesn't really matter to spam SP1 or SP2. You're pretty much the same DPS wise. But if you're running damage mastery, I would encourage you just to spam SP2, because the less special attack you're going to be throwing, which means less damage from recoil. So I do believe, the which I didn't really showcase in here, is to get the maximum DPS from Apocalypse. You want to throw uh, the SP1 as soon as you get 1 bar of power, and then get to the SP2 as soon as you get 2 bars of power. Why is that? Because you want to inflict damage over time on your opponent as soon as you can. So I think that's the most accurate. And you want to refresh your before you get to SP3, you probably most likely need to refresh them. So you want to throw in heavy attacks from once in a while. So I do think that's obviously the highest, the best DPS, but I didn't do it here. But it's the damage increase is not going to be like that much difference. So it's not going to be a big difference as far as data wise. So I do think in most, like if you're not fighting Realm of Legends, you're in a harder fight, that it's easier. Like let's say you wanted to throw the SP2 first, you want to get to as close as 3 bars of power as possible, because some fights are difficult that you just cannot throw your heavy attack, because so you want to get to as close to 3 bars as possible, uh and then throw the SP2, and then you want to go to, like, play it more safer, go to SP2, then SP3, then go to SP1, then SP3 is a more safer route. But to get the most DPS, as I mentioned, like throw the SP1 as soon as you get 1 bar power, and then throw the SP2 as soon as you get 2 bars of power, then refresh them with your heavy attack, and then throw the SP3 to get that permanent uh, damage over time on the opponent. I'm not gonna go through the entire video. I'm pretty much gonna just uh, show you parts of it, except the last clip, because it's happened. The gameplay is so fast. So let's just go to the data, because that's really what's the most important thing. Looking at the data. So here it took 367 hits. I mean, I know this is a 4 star, but keep in mind he does have class advantage. That's a lot. And then almost 7 minutes, 60 minutes and 50 seconds. That's not good, even as a 4 star. So his damage is definitely 1 out of 5 by Kabam's rating by himself. So he doesn't hit very hard by himself. So let's go to the next video. So this time I have max deep wounds and max assassins. So that's all I added. I'm pretty much going to be the same thing. I'm not going to have any synergies with Apocalypse just by himself. Just added that max deep wounds and assassins. So I'm not gonna go through the entire gameplay. I just wanted to, like, really the most important thing is the data, because same thing with the gameplay. Throw SP1 or SP2. You know, use your heavy attack to refresh the damage over time. Then throw the SP3 to keep them permanent. So that's pretty much it. So let's look at the data, which is the most important thing. So let's see how many hits that took and how long it took. So it took 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So 20 seconds faster, 9 less hits. Nothing like much improvement. It's an improvement, but not that much. So I would say here it's still 1 out of 5, maybe closer to 2 out of 5 when it comes to his damage by Kabam's rating. So let's go to the next one. So now I'm running the same thing, but this time I'm bringing Cable in my team. So this duel right here is like one of the best duos in MCOC, especially in Alliance War. It's pretty common to see both of them in your team. Um, this is probably the most realistic thing to have with Apocalypse, because you're not gonna have many, especially in Alliance War. You might not be running damage mastery, and you could only have 3 people in your team. So this is pretty more realistic in Alliance War, and in most cases to just have Cable in your team for to increase your damage. So let's just see the potential of this. Just having Cable on your team. Just having Cable on your team is a big deal for not only mostly for Cable, but as well as for Apocalypse. But because for Apocalypse he gains 4 charges instead of just having 1 charge. So for every charge that Apocalypse has, he gains an extra 40% special attack. So having 4 charges, that's an extra 120% special attack bonus. And it also gains an extra 15% special attack. 15% attack having Cable, because he's a mutant in your team. So let's see how much damage he can do just with Cable and without running damage mastery. Something to note is having 4 charges, he gains extra utility. You can stun opponent while they're blocking, as well as you become stun immune when you have 3 charges. So it really gives you not only extra damage with Cable in your team, but it also increases the utility. So I'm not going to go through the entire video. Let's just look at that again. As you can see here, it took 249 hits, 4 minutes and 41 seconds. Definitely not the fastest fight, but I say his damage is actually decent now, just having a Cable in his team and without running damage mastery. I say his damage is probably closer to 3 out of 5 with this gameplay. It did take 4 minutes and 41 seconds, but in Alliance War, you're not gonna most likely not gonna deal with opponents with over 500k health pool. You're also gonna be using, attack boost as well. So you're not gonna have a fight this long in Alliance War if you just have cable to increase your damage at least. So let's go to the next gameplay. So here, say Masteries, but this time I'm running with full synergy. So let's take a look at it. So here I have Professor X, Wolverine, Red Magneto, and my team as well. So for every mutant, Apocalypse gains an extra 15% attack. So with 4 mutants, that's an extra 60% attack bonus he gets. And he also gains an extra set 25% special attack bonus with Professor X, and some like generic attack rating with like extra crit damage, extra attack with Red Magneto as well. So let's see how much his damage is now compared to the last one. So I'm not gonna go through the entire fight, so let's just look at towards the end. As you can see here, 174 hits, and it took 3 minutes and 24 seconds. So his damage is definitely, I say, at least 3 out of 5, probably closer to 4 out of 5 here with this team. So his damage is pretty decent with full synergy, not even running damage mastery. So that's why I think he's underrated, because he requires like full synergy to for him to hit pretty decent. But he's actually not a bad champion if you have him fully synergized, because he gains so much utility as well as extra attack bonus with full synergy. So let's look at the next one. So the next one, I'm going to be running damage mastery. So let's just see the difference with damage masteries. So I'm going to have the same team. I don't think Apocalypse is the most damage mastery friendly champion in the game. So you usually don't want to run damage mastery with Apocalypse unless you have him fully synergized and fully ramped up with the X-Men team, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But I just want to show you his running damage mastery, what the data is when it comes to his damage. So I'm not gonna see. That's the only time I got hit on this fight. Keep that in mind. I only took 1 hit on this fight. So let's go to all the way to the end. So here I took next to 3 hits right there. So let's see how many hits it took. 146 hits. That's like 143 hits, not including the last 3 hits. 2 minutes and 36 seconds. So his damage is definitely, I would say, 4 out of 5 in this one for sure. So you could see how much difference it is with damage mastery. The only problem is, as you can see, I got hit once, and I still lost 27% health. Only getting hit once because of recoil, mostly from recoil damage. So that's why he's not damage mastery friendly unless you have him fully ramped up with Professor X synergy. So I'm gonna have same masteries, but in this case, I'm gonna go up against Realm of Legends Black Panther. And this time I have Professor X. I have him fully ramped up with 4 persistent charge. So basically what it means for him having 4 persistent charge is he gains 72% poison resistant with Wolverine in the team. So it becomes really durable. Also keep in mind Realm of Legend Black Panther is has the same health pool as Realm of Legends Winter Soldier. Not only that, he's also skilled. So this is kind of gives you a pretty close accuracy of the damage wise when you compare it to Realm of Legends Winter Soldier. So I'm not going to go through the entire fight, but you can kind of see here towards the end. As you can see here, I took 18 hits and I finished with 86% health. I finished with 13% more health, but I took 17 more hits. Not only that, I finished what, 2 minutes and 30 seconds and one was that 121 hits. That's really close to like 5 out of 5 damage. It's definitely at least 4 out of 5 damage by Kabam's rating. So that's pretty good when you have him fully synergized. And not even the most optimized synergize he has. So I'm going to show you the next clip. Same masteries. So his synergy, his his best synergy team. This is pretty much his best synergy team you can have when you want him to maximize his full potential. Is to bring Strife. Cable is nice, but you don't really need Cable because Cable does is add that extra 15% attack bonus. So does Stripe because he's also a mutant. But Stripe gives him that extra 25%, up to 300% extra potency on the damage over time, and he gets an extra 25% extra damage every time he throws a special attack, one or two. So this is let's showcase the gameplay. As you can see here, I started with one, so he's gonna gain a little bit more health. So I started with 87% health. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, let's see what I will finish throughout the fight, and I'm gonna let this one, I'm gonna let the whole thing play out. So in here, I didn't really get to see, show his maximum potential with Strife Synergy because he was only be able to fire uh, like 4 special attack, 1 or 2. So you don't get to see his full potential when it comes to damage DPS with Strife Synergy. I do think with Strife Synergy he hits like, wow, his damage is really comparable to Cosmic Ghost Rider, if not more, if with if depending on the health pool of the opponent. So what is this? Yeah. So as you can see, I don't know how many times I get hit. I think I get hit like 7 times in this gameplay, and I will finish with like 94% health. So I actually gain like 7% health while getting hit 7 times. Not only that, was like taking what's that, 20% of recoil damage. So I really gained like 27% health in this fight, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. Like he's more durable with damage masteries on if you have Professor X and Wolverine, and as well as having 4 charges with Professor X because he gains 72% poison resistant. So I think, nope, this is not it. One more special attack, and I will do the trick. There you go. Let's look at the data. As you can see here, 109 hits. It's definitely 5 out of 5 damage wise in Kabam's rating. 2 minutes and 8 seconds, definitely not the fastest, but it's still, I would say, 5 out of 5 DPS wise with Kabam's rating as a 4-star. So it's pretty good. So when you look at how his damage is from the basic without damage mastery, without synergy, let's take a look at it. As you can see here, 367 hits. 6 minutes and 50 seconds. So let's take a look at it with damage mastery as well as full synergy. As you can see here, I was able to beat Realm of Legends Black Panther with less than 1/3 of the hits, as well as uh, more than 3 times faster fight duration. So his damage is nearly triple the damage. I mean, more than triple the damage. So that's why I think he's underrated because he requires like full synergy as well as running damage mastery for him to gain his full potential. What do you guys think of the gameplay and what do you think of Apocalypse? I think he's good. I think he's underrated in my opinion. Thank you.